Hey guys, this is RavenCyarm. Welcome to my Q&A video. I don't exactly know how to start this off or how to do it or anything like that. I just thought this would be a cool idea. But, yeah, here's some questions and here's some answers. Do you know kayfabe mashups, and if so, do you like his work? Now, by no kayfabe mashups, I assume you mean, well, actually, I don't know if you mean on a personal basis or just over the internet. I don't know him because, I'm clearly Australian and he's, American. But, I know, of course, I know about kayfabe mashups. If you're any kind of a, mashupper with wrestling themes, he's pretty much, one of the, originators of the genre. Or at least, okay, maybe not even, I don't know, I'm really bad with my history. I should probably stop talking. No, of course I know kayfabe mashups, and he was one of the people who absolutely inspired me to, to do mashups and all that. So, yeah, of course I like his work. Favorite WWE stable and why? See, I am really bad when it comes to, favorite blank questions, because I can never, ever, ever pick one. Just off the top of my head, the original DX was awesome, the original NWO was awesome, Evolution was awesome. Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family, that is a really kick-ass new stable. Of course, I can't not say the Shield, but yeah, I can't. I'm never been good with favorites. How long have you been watching WWE? Now, this is kind of iffy because I remember as a kid, on public TV, there was episodes of Raw and Nitro. And I believe this would have been 1998 because I do remember the Kane Undertaker Inferno match. But I don't know why, but it must have been taken off TV or something. And I didn't hop on the cable satellite TV until 2002. At which point, I started watching full time. So I started watching, I think, just after SummerSlam. How old are you? I'm 24. I'm curious as to what inspired you to make all these amazing mashups. Also, what is your favorite wrestling match of all time? Well, now that's a two-part question, but I will answer both. As for what inspired me to make mashups, the first mashup I remember hearing, because I've probably heard some before this, but this was the first one that really, I remember really liking the hell out of, was Green Day and Oasis, and it was Boulevard of Broken Dreams and Wonderwall. And that was a really cool mashup. I love the shit out of that mashup. And I listened to that, and I've always had a love of music and making music and messing around with music. And I just thought, I want to try that shit. And I made a bunch of mashups that were really shit tier. But, every mashup goes through that period where everything you make is just pure dog shit. You think in your head, oh, this totally works. I'm matching the tempo, I'm matching the beat, it looks right. But when you listen to it, in your head, you're like, well, I made this, of course it's okay. But you play it back later to someone else, and it's just oh, well, no, it sounds like dog shit. But as for what inspired to make wrestling mashups, guys like Eric Minnesota, kayfabe mashups, shit like that. Favorite wrestling match of all time? I'm really bad, like I said, I'm really bad with picking favorites. But if I had to think of one wrestling match off the top of my head that I really liked was the Cactus Jack Triple H street fight from Royal Rumble 2000. That was a really good match. I really liked the hell out of that. So I don't know if that's my favorite, but it's the first good wrestling match I could think of that, I thought, this was some cool shit. What's your opinion on Hulk Hogan? Now, as far as a wrestler, from what's portrayed on screen, Hulk Hogan is the shit on screen. I can't not mark out for Hulk Hogan. He's kind of a pimp. But then when you get to see all the backstage stuff and whether it's all true or it's all bullshit or whatever, even with all that stuff, I could look at Hulk Hogan the person, Terry Bollea, or whatever his name is, and I can say, oh, that sounds kind of like a douchebag. But then it all goes away as soon as, Real American hits, and I'm just marking out, and I'm fucking, ooh, and it's just, cool shit. But, yeah. So, I'm a mixed bag. Hulk Hogan the wrestler I like, Hulk Hogan the real person, yeah. What software do I typically use for mashups? Now, and people when people think of what do you use for mashups, people think, oh, you must use like some big fancy program, or like you must really use something complicated in advance. I just use Audacity. Most mashuppers, even guys like Eric Minnesota, use Audacity. It's a very easy, very simple program to work with, and it's, anyone who wants to try mashups, that's definitely the program you want to use because it's nice and easy, it's simple to pick up, and it's a good, like, ground layer kind of learning experience for all audio editing programs. So I'd go with that. And that's what I pretty much use all the time. Will you ever admit that Lone Silver Bullet is better than you? Alright, next question. What would be your entrance theme? Now this one's actually very easy to answer because it's technically been in every video I've made recently, and that's the the 5-second start like intro that I have on everything. It's Here Comes the Hot Stepper by I'm bad. See, this is hypocritical of me being RavenCyarm and having a weird complicated last name thing there that pretty much everyone messes up, which is totally fine again, but Here Comes the Hot Stepper by Ini Kamoze, I believe it is. Like, I quickly looked up the pronunciation before I did this, because I didn't want to sound like a dumbass, but I'm, rambling on, and I'm kind of doing it anyway, so... But yeah, that's pretty much the theme I would have. What is your favourite mashup that you've ever made? There's a bunch I really, really, like, I'm not ashamed to admit this, but I am my own biggest fan. Like, people say I'm my own biggest critic, but I'm my own biggest fan, because I will, maybe once or twice a week I'll just be, skimming through YouTube, and then I'll see, oh, I'm a related video for some reason, so I'll just click on that and I'll start watching what I've done, and I'm like, Jesus, I am so good at what I do. Excuse me while I toot my own horn. But, the Drew McIntyre Gorilla Smash was really, really cool. The Ted DiBiase Shane McMahon mash was, fun to make, and that was really good. D'Lo Brown Mark Henry was also really kick-ass. But, like, it's pretty much, anything I have that's usually a high amount of views, I tend to really like. Wow, that sounds really egocentric. No, think of it like that. I mean, if it's got high views, it's obviously quality enough that enough people have seen it, and it's usually the ones I like. The only one there, though, that I can think of off the top of my head that has, like, the highest amount of views, and I think it's, like, my highest viewed mash, is the John Cena Nexus mashup, and that one I put very little effort into, and I used a mashup, not a mashup, an original remix of the song by, I believe his name was Frostbite, but, like, he did, like, sampled beats of wrestler themes, and I heard that Nexus theme, and I thought it'd be cool as shit to, like, lay a Cena over that, and, like, make, like, a Nexus Cena theme, and I did that, and that one kind of, blew up, and I was just like, of all the mashups I wanted to, get popular, and, like, wildly, well, not wildly, you know what I mean, one of the most popular, but yeah, now that's, what would you do if a zombie outbreak ever took place? I'd probably shit myself, because I'm not afraid to admit that I'm an absolute coward. Because it's like, you'll see people all the time, like, in, like, online polls, and like, if there was a zombie apocalypse, would you want a zombie apocalypse, and stuff like that, and some people are like, yeah, I want to experience that kind of... I fucking don't. I want to stay as far away from that apocalyptic world as possible. I enjoy Walking Dead, I don't want to be in Walking Dead. If you were a wrestler, what would your name be, and what would you call your finishing move? Again, very easy to answer, because, I used to do e-fetting, which is like, virtual online wrestling, which is contested under, like, writing, like, promos and stuff. And, I'm a fan of creative writing, because, I've always just, enjoyed writing stuff. And I basically formulated this whole created wrestler called Cyarm, which is, of course, later on became, like, the name of the show. Actually, no, Cyarm came first, like, the name Cyarm... Let me give you some backstory here. Cyarm, the original name, came back from about 10, 15 years ago, when I played No Mercy, and I remember making, like, a core on that had the name Cyarm, and I just thought, oh, that name was cool, or whatever, and I've kind of just adapted that name, as well as Raven, which was, just because I really liked that Edgar Allan Poe poem, The Raven. And so I kind of threw those together and made RavenCyarm. But yeah, like, but yeah, that's pretty much what my wrestling name would be, Cyarm. As for a finishing move, I would go with, what my created wrestler's finishing move was, which was the Sidewinder, spelled with like Cydewinder, and that was a spinning fisherman's suplex, which is in the SmackDown vs. Raw games, and I thought that move was like cool as shit. And no one, at least to my knowledge, does it on the main scene, and it looks cool as shit. So I went with that. Has anyone ever used your mashups for YouTube videos or their wrestling game stuff? Now, for wrestling games, I assume you mean like, oh, does anyone like download like my mashups and just use them as themes? And I'll get like download link requests every now and then on a song. Oh hey, I want to use this in my game or whatever. And I'm like, I don't do it anymore. I don't do download links anymore for two reasons. One, because it's like a lot of extra effort, and well, okay, not really extra effort. It's just I can't be fucked, to be completely honest, and it's not that hard to just download a YouTube video and rip the audio, or just find a site that rips the audio straight up. But has anyone ever used it for like YouTube videos? The only one I can think of off the top of my head was on the D'Lo Brown Mark Henry match. There's a video response there, and someone's used it for like a wrestling video there. And it has more views than the mashup, and people are on his on his video saying, "Oh, dude, this mashup is kick ass," and that. It's like, and wow, video maker, you're really talented. And it's just like he responded, I think, at one point saying, "Oh, that's not me. It's the guy who's responded, like who I responded to." But it's kind of a kick in the nuts to make a mashup, find someone make something with that mashup, and have that be more successful than the original. But as for YouTube videos, not really a mashup, but I was recently the most recent Botchamania ending, which was really cool. Like, and to my knowledge, that was like the first one I've made. And I'll get comments on YouTube videos all the time as well, like, "Oh, this should totally be a Botchamania ending and all that, and you should send this to Matthew and all that." And it's like I don't do that because like I think that's kind of douchey to just kind of promote yourself like that. But if I and again, I commented on this the other day, but if I get noticed somewhere or if attention gets drawn to me, I want it to be due to pretty much like either the merits of whatever it is I've made or the fan base I have. I don't know if fan base is too douchey of a word to use. I mean, I have like 3,500 subscribers now, which is cool as shit, and I'm totally, thanks for all that. But if something gets successful, I just want it to be like on the merits of the match or my fan base, and not because I promoted it everywhere or because I'm doing like sub for sub or some stupid shit. But yeah. Based on your previous videos involving ponies, is it safe to assume that you're a brony? Yes, I'm a brony. Cue the hate mail, cue all the thumbs down, cue the unsubscriptions. But my theory on everything in life is don't knock it before you try it. And I'm a very open-minded kind of person, and I checked it out, and I thought, well, shit, this is actually not too bad. And I got into the series, and I got into everything the community makes and all that, and it's really, it's cool. But like I said, don't knock it before you try it. And, because you'll look on the outside and you'll say, oh, this is just girly, frilly. To be fair, we're watching half-naked men wrestle. Let's not pretend like we're not creepy from the outside too. 5 favorite video games of all time. Again, really bad with favorites. Final Fantasy VII, I'm an absolute nostalgia fanboy for. I love the shit out of that game. Like, just the story and the gameplay and all that stuff. Yeah, it looks like a bag of assholes graphically, but, like, it's on PC, and you can mod it up to look nice and pretty. But I would say the Metal Gear Solid franchise as a whole, I freaking love that series. What else? Just looking at my case here for the games. Dragon Age Origins. I really got into that this gen, and I really like that game. It's just a damn shame what happened to Dragon Age 2, but Dragon Age Origins was absolutely like the shit. Like, I played that to death. I've, modded that out the wazoo on PC, and it's just a really fun game. Like, I love the amount of options it has as far as story goes. It's really, really good. Alright, so that about wraps it up. I want to thank everyone for sending in their questions, and I might do another one sometime. Depends on how people thought about this one and all that. But yeah, see you later.